I'm here for money. Money.
So I was planning on doing a review of Red Dead Redemption 2 for its 1-year anniversary, but I wouldn't be saying anything new or distinctive. Also, I don't do video game reviews, so instead I'll just talk about my favorite thing in Red Dead Redemption 2, the main character. As one of the Vanderlyn gang's big three, Dutch being the leader and Hosea being the second in command, Arthur is essentially the big gun of the group. He's the workhorse, the guy that Dutch relies on to get things done. He may complain as he goes out for, say, a recon mission, but he still does it because it's for his family. Yes, there's an honor system in the game where you, the player, can have Arthur just be a complete asshole outside of story missions. But at no point can you steer Arthur toward being a traitor or anything like that. His character is a person who will defend his gang until his dying breath, but isn't above verbally destroying them for their shortcomings. In short, he's essentially everyone's big brother. No, not that one. All the side missions Arthur can do is related to helping the gang out. If he's not directly going to pick up Reverend Swanson after he gets drunk and almost killed by a train, it's looking for a pocket watch to replace the one Lenny lost. He looks out for everyone, and because of that, there's a clear sense of faith everyone can put in Arthur. When Sadie tells Arthur, "You're the only one of these fools I can trust," it's not some line that's just meant to coax the player into accepting the mission. Bill is a duller trying to be tough, John is the simple man trying to establish something with himself, Charles keeps to himself while still contributing, and Dutch is the king too good for errands, even if he won't admit it. Arthur, for better or for worse, is the rock of the group. You see how he's the one willing to listen to everyone's issues and lend a hand in some way. It's believable that he's the most trustworthy of the Vanderlyn gang. So he's the best of them because everyone else sucks, right? Well, yes and no. You wouldn't ask a cook to go rob a stagecoach. I'll keep this analysis to Arthur since that's the title, but just know that every member has some defining attribute about them. While you do go hunting as Arthur, Charles is the one that taught him how to hunt. Anyway, using the stagecoach example, there's a side mission where Lenny, one of the younger members of the gang, tells Arthur about an incoming stagecoach that he was tipped off about. Arthur kind of inserts himself into the mission, tagging along with Lenny. On the mission, they find out that it's a trap, and they often do this to try and catch outlaws. Or at least, Lenny finds that out. Arthur's reaction, after killing every lawman in sight, is to turn the encounter into a teachable moment for Lenny. This is a sort of example of how Arthur gains his reputation amongst the gang as the cold-hearted gunman that looks out for them. There are other missions involving NPCs and towns and such not associated with the group, but those usually give you a more low-honor opportunity, whereas going with Sean to rob a house can only have Morgan looking out for his little brother. So Arthur's the big man on campus that has everything figured out then. Again, the answer is no. There's a reason why redemption is a part of the game's title and not some other word beginning with R. He may be collecting money for his family misfits and outcasts, but he's still beating and killing people in order to do so. Play the game as honorably as you want, Arthur is still gonna beat Thomas Downs to death over a loan. Funny enough, there's a cutscene a few missions afterward where Arthur threatens to kill Thomas' son for giving him a dirty look. You know, because Arthur killed his dad? Fucking asshole. So, toward the start of the game, Arthur has very little remorse in these acts, simply stating that it's just the way it is. There are a lot more examples, but I don't want to be here all day. Arthur, despite being the one who encourages others to face their problems and improve upon themselves, struggles to do this himself. Again, I'm looking only at the story narrative and not the player's optional choices. He goes right along with Dutch's plans, only giving the slightest bit of caution beforehand. Not a "we shouldn't be doing this," but instead a "are you sure about this" kind of statement. So when things go sideways and he can be blamed, it's just one of those things. Arthur tells John not to be a sheep while being one himself. Yes, I'm aware that a lot of that goes into the fact that Dutch is basically Arthur's dad. The game states that Dutch and Hosea picked Arthur up around age 14 and Arthur is about 34-ish. So, yeah, Dutch, while intentional or not, has been emotionally manipulating Arthur and John for the majority of their lives. As hard as it is to break habits and trappings, it's all the harder when it's your parent who installed those habits to begin with. Thankfully, Arthur does see through his propaganda. It took him getting tuberculosis in order for him to open his eyes, but hey, better late than never. Unfortunately, late comes with repercussions. It takes Sean, Kieran, Hosea, and Lenny dying before Arthur starts challenging Dutch's authority beyond some lampshading. Arthur does finally stop being a sheep, but it's still after he's watched, and by extension helped, Dutch murder innocent people and go back on his word a few times. So if Arthur is no longer going to be loyal to Dutch, then what exactly is his plan? Redemption. A lot of the missions toward the end of the game are wrapping up certain character arcs. Sadie will ask Arthur to help her get revenge on the man who killed her husband. He kicks out the money loaner Strauss, who was taking advantage of people in bad situations. And then a huge chunk in the final chapter is Arthur setting John up to leave the gang with his wife and child. Dutch Vanderlyn started looking out for himself while Arthur kept looking out for the gang. It just went from do what's best for the group to do what's best for you. So, in a way, Arthur redeemed himself by just being the best that he could be. That meant turning on his father and helping his little brother get out of the life that they were living. Unfortunately, it was without him. It hurt like hell, but he knew he had to do it. Like Arthur said, he's killed for the gang. So, with him either lying on top of a hill or around the burning camp he's done everything to protect, Arthur made good on his word and died for his gang. Wrapping up this analysis was honestly the hardest part to write. I feel a melancholy trying to summarize the experience I had playing as Arthur Morgan. I want to give some sort of artistic monologue or a quote that encapsulates my feelings on the character that's become one of my favorites. I guess I feel obligated to give the writers and voice actor for Arthur a massive thank you for giving me so many hours of fun. And I know that there was a controversy due to a lot of workers being overworked and mistreated in the process of making this game, so I feel as though I should say both thank you and I'm sorry, if it means anything at this point. But I feel as though I've kept you long enough, so I'll just leave you with this.
What about you, Arthur?
Me? I don't care about that nonsense.
Come on.
That's the way.
Face me to the west so I can watch the setting sun and remember all the fine times we had that way.
See, Tilly? I told you Arthur had a soul.